Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 2019 Canadian Ultimate Championships. We are here with action from the Women's Division Final, which will feature 6ixers out of Toronto and Iris out of Quebec. My name's Bobby Anderson. I'm joined by Clay Howlett. Clay, what are you expecting from this matchup?
I had the privilege of being able to turn around and watch the 6ixers play yesterday on our adjacent field here, and I saw a lot of speed out of the 6ixers, so I'm expecting to see some long bombs to some of their really fast players. I think number 70 DeSantos. Is it number 70?
Yep.
Oh, I got it. Has just been an absolute speedster. Iris played traffic earlier in the tournament, upsetting them. I was live tweeting that game on the sideline there. The wind and rain was bananas sideways, but what you did see in that game from Iris was a very complete team game, using the entire team, playing as a team to get that victory over traffic. So if I had to say right now, speed from 6ixers, a really good team communication from Iris.
It's definitely going to be a great game here. Both these teams know each other very well. They have faced each other once so far this season. Earlier in the year at the New York warm-up, 6ixers coming out over top. I believe it was 13-10 or around that score at that tournament. So a rematch of that game. Always exciting for them to play each other. All the players know each other really well. Members on Team Canada under 24 on both teams. And also the coaches from both sides coaching that under 24 women's team together in Heidelberg this year. So coaches know each other very well. Players know each other very well. They have a little bit of a different style, but I think it's going to be an exciting matchup here. And that is the horn, and we will get this women's final underway. We are here at the Ivor Dent Sports Park in Edmonton, Alberta, on the VC Showcase Field, and the first pull is up. That one's sailing just out of bounds. Iris will start the game off at their brick mark. Marie Genet with the disc for Iris. Swings it across. Nina Prévost with it. Puts that one up into the middle.
Dunbar, so fast.
Melissa Dunbar shooting up to Imond. Imond looking into the end zone. She shoots that one. Oh, and we already see the speed of the 6ixers. Number 11, Laura Kinoshita with the D for 6ixers.
Sarah Bobak also in the area. Bobak, a great heads-up player.
Beaudry swings over to Bobak. Back to Beaudry. 6ixers setting up an avert stack here. A little bit of contact, but that one is brought in by Kinoshita. Back to Beaudry. Nice grab by Lewis on the sideline. Looks under to Mason. Mason back to Beaudry, and she's going to shoot that one into the end zone, but just sails a little bit too far. Tingle can't bring that one in.
Miriam working the VC tent earlier in the junior tournament, now suiting up in the women's division.
Yeah, definitely lots of crossover. Many volunteers throughout the junior division now playing here in the adult division. And a D there from Kinoshita. So a short field for Beaudry here for 6ixers to take their first break of the game. Swings that one over for Kinoshita. Back to Beaudry. Beaudry looking break. And she will put it up break, and that one is reeled in by Kinoshita.
Saw some good contrast there on the red zone offense. Iris looking a little rushed, trying to go over the top to Dunbar in coverage earlier, while 6ixers able to take the 100% shots, not forcing it in up the line, getting the breaks around, and that Chile offense gets them the goal.
Yeah, great patience by Beaudry on that end zone line. Had a cutter streaking into the open side, but a little bit of tight coverage. Wisely goes for the around break shot, and the Sixers are on the board with a break.
I just want to make note of the fact that we're just missing an announcer right now. Krista McDonald will be joining you on the stream shortly. She was just delayed, so I'm here as an alternate. We believe it's preferable to have players that have played in these divisions commentating for you. So when Krista arrives, she'll be taking over.
Yeah, there is also a marathon happening in Edmonton right now, so lots of traffic delays and road closures. Definitely having to take an alternate route to get here today. So once she joins us, she will be stepping in for Clay. But right now it will be Sixers with the pull. And that one is put up by Brittany Dos Santos. That one not quite coming back in.
We saw in the earlier game the wind was very calm at the beginning of the game, and it picked out as it went on. But now the wind is practically non-existent.
So this one's going to be short field for Iris here. Janae with the disc. Goes for the break dump, and that one's immediately put up. Chloe Amond with it. In the middle of the field with Wallette. Over to Boschman. Boschman looking end zone, puts that one up for Penelope Robert, and she puts that one into the end zone. Nina Prévost with the goal for Iris.
Penelope Robert coached Titan in the junior division this week. I interviewed her, and she said that herself she came through the junior program and now has just graduated to the adult division. Seeing some really good speed from her right there. Obviously a great addition to this Iris team.
Yeah, something that's pretty exciting to note in this final. This, I believe, is the first time that in the final we have had all women coaches coaching this women's final. So definitely exciting to see those players coming up through the junior program, stepping into coaching roles, and then continuing on to coach. Pretty exciting for women in sport to have all female coaches at this high of a level.
Yeah, a new era.
Iris coached by Allison Fisher, Audrey St. Arnaud, and Isabelle Lemay. Allison Fisher, as we mentioned, was one of the coaches of the Team Canada under 24 women's team. Lots of experience in that brain. So Sixers here. Laura Cameron swinging over to Trong. Trong looking up line, puts that one to Innes. Innes looking back for Camira. Is a call on the play. Looks like there was a pick. Looks like it'll be coming in at 7. Puts that one up line to Camira. Camira, very patient, fakes, looking for an open. Shoots that one up to Trong. And Trong immediately into the end zone. And a huge grab by Sarah Kidd, pulling that one out of the grass and gets the goal for the Sixers.
Yeah, great heads-up play by Kidd. Iris unfazed, though. You might have seen their sideline come onto the field, hands up, cheering each other on. At this point, it's still anyone's game as Sixers are only up a break. But both teams holding now.
Yeah, this Iris team, very spirited. Their coaches said that they are in really good spirits this morning. They sang the entire way to the field on the shuttle bus, and we can hear them now still continuing to sing. So they know that this is a great team that they're matching up, and they're going to hold on their O-lines. So definitely unfazed by that one. Yeah. Their D-line just really wanting to put pressure on these Sixers handlers and try and shut down some of that speed.
Yeah.
The weather is pretty favorable as far as the week has gone, as you kind of alluded to. Yeah. We've had some pretty intense weather, lots of rain, very windy conditions all throughout the week, so this is a pretty great day for
Nice.
finals Sunday.
Yeah, calming down for finals is pretty nice.
Lots of people in the stands. Those were provided by Quick Sit Bleachers, so it's nice that it's a great day that we can actually hang out here and watch some good ultimate. Iris putting that one up, and the 6ixers.
Shanest, a big thrower for Iris, but unfortunately does not connect there.
Miriam Tingle with the D for 6ixers. Jenna McLeod coming back under. Looks for Beaudry. And that one just sails past Beaudry. Iris getting another opportunity here. Janae with the disc. Looks for the around to Robert. Robert up the line to Prévost. 6ixers doing a good job of keeping them on the sideline. Up to Janae, into the end zone.
What a catch.
And a huge grab. Penelope Robert gets the hold for Iris.
See Janae doing a lot of work there in the, despite how windy it was. Saw the same from her in the Traffic Iris crossover, and also saw Robert making some plays. So, you know, more just routine for Iris. Janae able to work that up the field and finding some excellent receivers.
Yeah, 6ixers doing a great job of keeping Iris over on that sideline, but Iris just having confidence in their receivers and shoots it into the open side end zone for the score. We do have a team of 4 observers here helping us out throughout this final. Linda Kudo, Sandra Hansen, Nathan Magnus, and Dominic St. Jacques. We're always thankful to have observers on the field with us, helping the players out if there's any disputes on the field, keeping the time, and as well calling in and out. Always making the game run a little bit smoother, not stepping in until the players ask them to.
Yeah. And in the Iris demonstrated earlier in the tournament, they always aim to resolve everything on their own. Really, really active in attempting to not go to the observers.
Yeah, very spirited team. 6ixers with the disc. Kamira looking over to Dawson. Dawson puts that one to Kidd. Kidd back to the middle. Swings it over to Kamira. Does well to keep her toes in there and immediately puts it up the line for Maron. Looking for Dawson. Dawson on the end zone line. And a nice shot into the end zone for Cindy Trong. Very smooth hold for 6ixers, showing off their speed. The Cutters doing a great job of getting open downfield, and we are at 3-2 6ixers.
Yeah, so far only one break in the game on the first point by the 6ixers. Otherwise, both teams continuing to hold. Kimura there really running that disc on the sideline and high-level focus there to keep her feet just in bounds, as it looked like that disc was going to go all the way out.
The 6ixers defeated Vancouver's Traffic to get into this final. They said that they have had a pretty solid run to this final. They had some pretty easy wins over some teams. Maybe not easy, but very defiant wins over teams, really showing off their speed all week and how well they can handle the wind. But yesterday against Traffic, the coach is saying they really had to work hard against that Traffic team. The defense from that team really making their Cutters work to get open. So they're happy that they had that challenge and are definitely bringing in what they learned yesterday to this game.
Yeah. That pole goes out of bounds. Janae will pick up and bring it to the middle, typically the center handler for Iris. Zone look.
Janae back to Boschman. Puts that one over top. Nice look there. Shot into the middle for Cote. Cote finds Prévost. Prévost looking end zone. Sixers melting into a match. I believe that was Beaudry with a huge layout D for Sixers, and that one is immediately put up and just sails out of bounds. That was Miriam Tingle trying to track that one down, but this one will come back up for Iris. Prevost with the disc.
Oh, and that was never in.
Prevost looking around. Stuck on the sideline, is going to look into the end zone. Huge one, but it's ripped out of the air by Beaudry. Might have been a bit of a high stall count situation there for Iris. Sixers again shooting it deep immediately to Boback. Brings that one in, and she's going to put one into the end zone. Oh, and a huge layup by Brittany Dos Santos, but that one just bouncing off of her hands.
Seeing that real speed, quite characteristic of Sarah Boback and Dos Santos.
Jeunesse with the disc.
Injury call. Dos Santos needing to walk off that impact with the ground, I imagine.
Yeah, it looks like she's just maybe a little winded on that play, shaken up, taking a second to get her breath. Jenné will walk the disc up for Iris. So Sixers setting up in a bit of a zone look again here. That one's shot up the middle to Robert. Robert flipping that over to Boschman. Up the sideline to Walletta. Walletta looking for an option. Nice shot through the middle to Robert. Robert swings over to Dion.
Robert turns on the Jets.
A swing across, and it looks like Sixers just got a hand out of that, putting that out of the reach of Boschman.
Number 12, Mason with the block.
And Sixers will take a timeout.
So Krista's arrived, and this seems like a good time for me to bounce out. So I'll sub out. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for joining us, Clay. Welcome, Krista.
Thanks, Bobby. Thanks, Clay, for filling in for me.
So Sixers taking a bit of a timeout here. There have been several turns on this point already. Just taking a chance to get their breath. Really realizing that going up 2 breaks early in this game could make a big difference. So if you are just joining us, we are here at Ivor Dent Sports Park in Edmonton, Alberta, bringing you action from the women's final at the Canadian Ultimate Championships. We have Iris in the white, Sixers in purple. It is currently 3-2 for Sixers, with an opportunity to go up 2 breaks here. Looks like it will be Lewis with the disc for Sixers. Sixers setting up in their vert stack, really using the speed of their cutters. Immediately puts that one up to Tingle. Tingle up to Kinoshita. Kinoshita swings around, back to Tingle. Over to Chen. And that one, nice grab on the sideline. Mason with the disc. Back over to Chen. There's a pick called on the field. Chen will tap the disc in. Immediately putting up for Kinoshita. Looks off the open cutter. Elects to go around to Beaudry. Beaudry puts that one up, and a huge grab. Sarah Boback brings that one in for the Sixers despite the slight hand block. Great concentration by Boback.
Oh, definitely.
And Sixers with their second break of the game will go up 4-2 over Iris.
So I know I'm coming in late to the game now, but it looks like Sixers seem to be definitely the dominating force right now.
Yeah, we talked a little bit before about how the Sixers, quite a fast team, they'll definitely be using their speed throughout this game to get open. Lots of long bombs, and we've seen them set up in their vert stack, having lots of confidence in their handlers, moving the disc, and then just relying on the speed of their cutters to get open downfield. Already we've seen a few Ds from them. Iris just needing to regroup a little bit. As we kind of mentioned before too, they are a team that really likes to swing back and forth, use the whole field, get everyone involved. I'm sure we will definitely see a lot more great action out of them.
Well, I've played Sixers before, and I can attest to their speed.
So it'll be Boscheman fields the pull for Iris. Disc in the middle with Janae. Puts that one over. Great read there by Dunbar. Melissa Dunbar showing off her speed throughout this game so far. That one's up to Zhao. Zhao back to Boscheman. Boscheman over to Dunbar. Puts that one up to Janae. Janae looking for Dunbar. Nice IO shot up the line. Dunbar up to Robert. Robert into the end zone. Not quite there. Disc was Zhao. Zhao looking. Melissa Dunbar. Huge layout for the Iris hold.
Oh, and those pancake layouts never feel amazing when you hit the ground either.
Melissa Dunbar was all over the field on that point, getting open for her handlers, and huge layout for the Iris hold.
So now Iris needs a break here to make this game, to really feel a bit more confident in it.
Yeah, just as we predicted that point, Iris swinging it back and forth across the field, really using the whole width of the field. Lots of nice leading throws into receivers. And then great shot into the end zone, and Melissa Dunbar using her speed and bringing that one in.
Yeah, that was a great catch and a great cut. And it's nice to see that the wind has finally died down a little bit so that people can use the whole field as well.
Yeah, we were mentioning earlier that the weather throughout the week here, we had the junior division earlier in the week, and then the adults took over on Thursday. Friday especially was quite windy. So both these teams battling through those conditions, really proving that they deserve to be in this final. Iris, of course, is the defending champions. They won gold at CUCs last year in Brampton. These two teams have met up during the season so far. Sixers taking that one over Iris, so Iris definitely probably feeling some redemption points.
Oh, yeah. They want that.
Oh, tons of pressure, but huge grab there.
Oh,
and another huge layout. Malte with the D for Iris.
This could be huge if they can capitalize on this.
Trin with the disc for Iris. Looking middle. Puts it up, reeled in by Malte. Malte inside, and this one immediately into the end zone, and it's reeled in. Number 25, Massey with the goal for Iris.
That brings the game to 4s for both teams. And you can definitely see the energy picking up with Iris.
Yeah, as we mentioned before, very spirited team. Even if they go down a break or two, they're definitely not going to give up on any of these discs. And that point, huge layout there, and just excellent flow from the transition, and they get their break back.
You know they're looking for another break here too.
Yeah, Sixers still currently up one break. They have already gotten too early in this game. But lots of energy on the Iris sideline now. They are going to be coming out firing in this next point. So 6ixers also been around for a few years. The team was made in 2016. They have also managed to capture a CUC gold. So both these teams have been in this game before. They know what it takes to win this game. And so a great matchup here for us today. 6ixers in purple, Iris in white. We will have Iris pulling. There's a little bit of a breeze kind of going left to right across your screen. Might affect some throws, but really pretty negligible after what we've been through this week. Beaudry puts that one up. Bo back with the goal, with the shot up the far sideline. Maron with the disc. That one up to Trung. Trung over to Beaudry. Lays out but can't grab it. Great pressure by Iris on the 6ixers handlers, forcing that one out of Beaudry's reach. Baudon with the disc. Puts that one up to Malte. Malte airing that one out. Beaudry in the area, and she knocks that one away. Looks like Iris player Chu thought about calling a foul and immediately retracts that. I think she knew the contact was incidental. Great spirit there. Kamira with the disc. That one aired up. Oh, and it's knocked away but brought back in. Maron with the disc. Up the line. Puts that one to Kamira. Kamira looking end zone. Swings back over to Dawson. And that one a low shot and can't be reeled in. Iris looking up line. Lots of pressure from the 6ixers. That one with Baudon. Over to Chu. Chu up to Pambrun. Not a lot of action downfield from the Iris cutters. This has been a bit of a longer point. And there is a call. Looks like there was a little bit of contact on the handler reset there. So disc will stay with Pambrun. Puts that one over. Lots of pressure, but Baudon reels it in, and she's gonna air that one out. But 6ixers in the area.
Nope, foul called.
I think there was also a stall down called back with Pambrun. It's gonna be a contested stall down. Disc will come back to Pambrun. So 6ixers really doing a good job of shutting down these Iris cutters. They have been set up in a vert stack during this point. Really having a tough time getting open on these speedy 6ixers. Puts that one over to Baudon. Puts it back to Pambrun. Pambrun looking, her reset slips a little bit, but finds a dish up to Chu. Chu back to Pambrun. Over to the far sideline with Bergeron. There's another call on the field. I think that one was a pick.
Iris seems to be very focused on using their handlers to move that disc around.
Yeah, vert stack definitely driven by handler movement. Pambrun doing a great job to bring that one in. Beaudry on the mark. Puts that one over to Chu. Nice break by Chu over to Baudon. Baudouin up to Pambrun, and Beaudry just getting her hand on it. Sixers looking to calm it down a little bit. This has been a bit of a longer point, lots of turnovers, a few calls, and they will elect to take a timeout.
Do you think the rain from last night is affecting some of them? I've seen a couple of people slip and fall on the field today.
Definitely looks like it is a little bit slippery out there. We did also just have the open final being played. Furious George winning over Goat and on Universe Point. That was a very exciting game. So might be a little bit chewed up in the middle there. It has rained kind of on and off throughout this week. So field's in pretty good condition. Ultimate Canada and everyone here at Ivor Dent Sports Park doing a really good job of managing that all throughout the week. We've had 2 different showcase fields, so we can kind of rotate back and forth so we don't have just the one field getting torn up. But yeah, you're right. Definitely a few players we've seen slip, especially on handler resets, trying to make those shortcuts.
Yeah.
So it will be Lauren Kamira picking up the disc for 6ixers. Iris doing a great job on their D-line, forcing a lot of turnovers so far in the 6ixers O-line.
Nice pressure from them, forcing them to make those throws. And that one little mistake, hopefully they can capitalize on it this time.
Kamira will be marked by Baudouin. 6ixers setting up in their vert stack. Looks over to Boback. Boback swings to Beaudry. Puts that one up to Maron. Maron up the line to Kinoshita. Puts that one over top to Beaudry. Looking break. Nice around throw over to Trung. Trung finds Dawson. Dawson looking not quite in, and I believe there will be a pick called. Disc will come back to Hannah Dawson. Tries to go around and again slips a little bit. Puts that one up to Kamira. Kamira airs that one up to Dawson, and that will be a 6ixers hold. Hannah Dawson, after swinging that, immediately breaking for the give and go and gets the goal for 6ixers.
Yeah, that was a great cut up the line on that after her pass in.
So that will bring us to 5-4 for 6ixers. 6ixers so far already got 2 breaks, but Iris able to get one of those back, so they are still up a break. Doing a great job putting a lot of pressure on this Iris team, but definitely saw some signs of life from Iris. They got their 1 break back, and on that defensive point, definitely forced some turnovers. So they're getting their opportunities. They just need to capitalize when they get those turnovers.
Yeah, and sometimes that can be so hard, just maintaining that momentum and not rushing things and making sure those choices are the smart ones to make. I know yesterday when we played in the finals, we maybe didn't make the best decisions sometimes, especially with that wind.
Yeah, the wind is a little bit gusty. It's quite calm at some times, and then every once in a while picks up, so could be affecting some throws, but so far not having a big impact on this game.
No.
Sixers with the pull. That one is going to sail out of bounds. Nina Prévost with the disc. One of the members of the under-24 women's team that was in Heidelberg this past July. Also one of the spirit captains for this Iris team. Disc with Boschman. Boschman looking around, flips it up to Prévost. Prévost up to Boschman. Sixers in a zone look here. Again, putting a lot of pressure on these Iris handlers. Looks around, but there's no receiver there for her. Back to Boschman. Boschman's going to put that one up, and she finds Dion. And that one just a little bit rushed after that great throw over the top of the cup by Boschman. Maybe just needs to take a little bit of a breath before she threw that one. Great look, but shot just a little bit too low in the end zone.
Just that 1 second breath in and then release. We've all been there, though.
Oh, huge grab there That one put up by Brittany Dos Santos. Good to see her back on the field. Was shaken up on a play earlier, but we will see lots more of her for sure. Chen with the disc. Puts it up to Tingle. Back to Chen. There's a pick called. Crystal Dos Santos. Dos Santos sisters definitely making a name for themselves in the ultimate world. Tingle puts it back to Chen. Up to Dos Santos. Puts it up line to her sister. Takes off deep and reels it in. Brittany Dos Santos back over to Lewis. Lewis to Chen. Chen's gonna shoot into the end zone, and what a great around throw. Jenna McLeod, great cut to the break side, and she has a goal for the Sixers.
And another break for the Sixers.
So that will bring us to 6-4 for the Sixers, putting them back up 2 breaks in this final match of our Canadian Ultimate Championships. It's been a great week here so far. We had the juniors earlier and then the adult division, both open, masters, women's. Lots of exciting play throughout the week. Many medals awarded, and there will be a few more here today after we see who will take this game between the Sixers and Iris.
Who was the favorite to win this game? The Sixers?
The Sixers did come in seeded first, so yeah, they would be the favorite. Definitely showing us why that is so far. Had the opportunity to play them, and they really do not let you have any disc. If it is up in the air, they are trying to go and get it. So definitely showing why they deserve to be here on this VC showcase field. They've been in this game before, getting a gold medal in 2017, I believe it was.
And they look tall.
They do look tall. Iris back. Janae with the disc. Over to Boscheman. Back to Janae. Puts that one up. Dunbar with it on her sideline. Trying to go around this Sixers zone. Back to Janae. Janae looking over to Prévost. Puts that one up the line to Zhao. Back to Prévost. Over to Janae. Boscheman wide open on the sideline here. Great shot up to Amond. Looking into the end zone. That one's going to trail away, but she keeps her feet in. Great concentration by Alicia Zhao to bring that one in. Could see the disc was starting to trail out of that end zone, but she catches it at the right moment, keeps her feet in.
That was a great toe drag.
And gets the Iris hold.
And a great break on that Sixers zone, too. Their cup is quite speedy and very phenomenal.
Yeah, Iris definitely looking a lot more comfortable with this zone as it goes on, getting a little more comfortable facing it. As we said, they do like to use the whole width of the field, really dumping and swinging, making that cup run back and forth, and then just taking their shots upfield when their receivers are open.
And that was the one that they needed right there.
So it's currently 6-5 Sixers. Sixers in purple, Iris in white. Lots of energy and spirit from both sidelines here. Talking to both coaches, I think they said there was an appropriate amount of nerves on both sides. Both teams excited to be here, but definitely still a gold medal match. Lots on the line here. Both these teams doing a great job so far in this game. The wind's starting to pick up a little bit here. We'll see if it hangs around and makes itself a bit of a factor.
Yeah, it could affect, because this way it's more of a crosswind today, I feel like, though.
Iris with the pull. Beaudry with the disc in the middle. Beaudry looking. Finds Trung. Trung up the sideline. Back to Beaudry. Beaudry, nice put into space, but just a bit too far for Sarah Kidd. So Iris with an opportunity here now to get a break back. Poirier with the disc. Swings it back low one there. That is Pam Brune with the disc. Thinks that she got it before it hit the grass, but 6ixers calling it down. The observers will discuss their perspective. Looks like the players will also go to the observers. And the disc is ruled down.
From our perspective, it looked like it was as well, but sometimes it's hard to see, especially where we're looking down on the field.
Yeah, we are a little bit higher up here, so, but observers right in the action, and they roll the disc down, so Beaudry back with the disc. Dawson on the far sideline, looking up for Beaudry. Puts that one back to Trung. Big fake by Trung. Inside shot up to Dawson. Dawson back to Beaudry, immediately taking off. Coming back for the reset. Big layout to save that one. Hannah Dawson breaks back over to Trung. And that one is put into Lauren Kimura.
That almost looked too easy to little dish in there.
Yeah.
She very gracefully was just like, I'll just take this.
Yeah, great disc movement and patience on the end zone from 6ixers. Kind of seen that all game. Once they do get down here, they really value the disc in the end zone. They don't force a lot of shots into there that aren't wide open. Haven't seen tons of contested shots into the end zone.
No, their end zone looks very disciplined.
Yeah, they're very content to just dump and swing, throw the break throws when they have them, and just wait for the open receiver.
And it seems to be working. 6ixers currently 7-5?
Yeah, 7-5.
The scorekeepers are in front of the scoreboard.
Still lots of time left in this game for Iris to come back and tie it up. We've already seen that they are capable of getting the turnovers on the 6ixers, really just needing to capitalize once they do get those turnovers.
Yeah, they need to take their time and find those open shots and communicate with their teammates. A couple of the times it looks like the passes were just a second early or second late and people not quite ready for it.
Yeah, we've definitely seen a lot of pressure from the 6ixers as well on the Iris handlers. They've ended up in a few high stall count situations where they've just had to kind of put it up, and I think that's been a bit of the difference in this game so far. So 6ixers with the pull. Janae fielding that pull. Looks for Boscheman, but goes up to Prévost. Prévost, nice shot through the middle, up to Robert. Robert back to Janae. Puts that one up. Dunbar looking with the disc. And that one up into the end zone, but that one is going to sail too far.
And I think that was another one of the high stall count throws that you had mentioned just a minute ago.
Yeah, 6ixers putting tons of pressure on those Iris handlers, really making it hard for them to get open for that reset. And Melissa Dunbar just ending up in a high stall count situation. Tries to put it up for Cote, but just being pushed a little bit too far out of the end zone. So 6ixers with another opportunity for a break here.
If they get this break too, that gives them half. Oh, pick called.
Mason with the disc.
The fans not liking that call.
I believe it was Robert that felt she had to change her speed, and Dunbar kind of getting in the way of her. Dos Santos up the line. Puts that one over to Chen. Chen over to Lewis, and she puts up a huge huck. Oh, and I believe that was Cote with the huge D for Iris, saving that point.
with that matchup and the height difference, I don't know if I would have put that up.
Definitely lots of faith from the Sixers, but Cote just going up at the right moment and bringing that one in. As the disc is up to Prévost. She's going to float this one in. Nice throw by Prévost. And just a little bit out of the reach of Amond.
I think she realized a second too late that it was coming around the other way for her.
I think she was cutting to the open side. Nina Prévost with a great put around.
It was a pretty throw.
Dos Santos with the disc. Puts it over to Chen. Chen going up to Tingle. Tingle faking. Puts it back to Chen. Bo back with the disc. Oh, and there's going to be some contact downfield. That one's put up to Kinoshita, but I believe that will be coming back. Prévost feeling she was picked on that. Called the pick, but I believe she said that she wouldn't have had a play on the disc anyways, but just stopping the play to be able to catch up. So it will stay up with Kinoshita. Puts that one over to Lewis. Around for Chen, tries to bid, but can't keep her hands on it. Janet with the disc. Looking middle. Great mark by Chen. She's going to float that one up for Dunbar. Lots of contact. She will call a foul, but I believe the disc will stay with Prévost. I think it was Dunbar that called the contact.
Yeah.
Sandra Hansen stepping in to help the players out. So it will remain with Nina Prévost.
A nice heads up by her to pick up that extra.
Yeah, great read by her. The other players going up, trying to get the disc at the highest point, and she just reads it and is there for the backup. And she will call a timeout for Iris. Good move there. We've kind of mentioned before the difference in this game. Sixers has been really patient on the end zone so far. Iris getting into those high stall count situations, just taking a moment. There has been a lot of back and forth on this point so far, so a little bit of a regroup, set up an end zone play, and punch this one in for a score.
Let's hope so. And the wind is starting to pick up stronger. So we'll see if that has an effect on those long bombs that have been going off.
Yeah, we'll see if teams will adjust to this. Iris right now just a yard out of their end zone. Prévost will pick up the disc for Iris. Offense is set.
Personally, I hate being on that just right outside the end zone. There's so much pressure sometimes.
Prévost looking, not a lot of options, and she puts that one up, and Cote with the goal for Iris. You can see great celebration there. I believe that is the shortest and tallest player on this Iris team. So great connection there. And that will bring the score to 7-6 for the Sixers.
And the Sixers here with possession, going to have the opportunity again to take half.
So we've really seen the Sixers have shut down the Iris handlers and resets all throughout this game. Iris handlers definitely going to have to make adjustment to how they're cutting and figure out a way to beat this quick Sixers team and find a way to get open for those resets. We've seen quite a few high stall count situations so far. That one, I think, also a high stall count situation for Prévost, but she manages to get it up for Cote.
Nice patience, too. to wait for the open cut instead of rushing it in.
Definitely, yeah. Great discipline by the Iris end zone. So it will be Massey with the pull for Iris. Sixers with the chance to take this game to half. That pull is fielded by Dawson. Great grab by Trung. She puts that one up to Maron. Maron looking for a reset. High floaty pass, and that one is going to be reeled in by Beaudoin. Beaudoin with the disc. Contested shot there. It's over back to Beaudoin. That one into the end zone and just out of the reach of the Iris player. Great opportunity for Iris there after that floaty pass over top of Beaudry. The wind is picking up now, and the Sixers will have to go the full 70 to take this one to half.
Oh.
That one in and out of the hands of Dawson. Beaudoin calmly walks up to the disc. Iris getting a little bit of a breather here. I'm sure they can feel the importance of this point right now. Puts that one over to Massey. Massey shoots it over to Malte. Nice inside shot. Slips a little but keeps her footing. Aboud with the disc. Believe there will be a pick on this call. She had just a little bit too much room. Seemed quite wide open there, which is not characteristic for this Sixers team to leave that much space.
No, that was quite the easy pass. If Iris can capitalize this on, though, they will definitely have some momentum going for them.
Yeah, this will be a huge break for Iris. Malte with the disc. Oh, and that one taken away by Sarah Kidd. Great read on the up the line cut.
Pick called.
Disc in the hands of Lauren Kimura. Was Robert calling the pick. And that disc will go back. Sarah Kidd on the end zone line with the disc. Robert makes a huge bid, but it's reeled in by Kimura. Looking downfield. That one up to Dawson. I believe there is a down called. Crowd getting involved on the far sideline.
There's some very aggressive sidelines from the crowd as well.
And that disc is ruled down. Sixer player agrees. So it will be Beaudoin picking up the disc for Iris with another opportunity to break. Looks upfield, finds Massey, and puts that one into Robert. Massey to Robert. Huge break for Iris, and that will tie the game up at 7s.
Yeah, and that was a great cut and good patience to get that in to the Iris player.
Yeah, great pressure by Iris there. Using their speed to take away those cuts downfield. Bit of a high stall count situation for the Sixers. And then that one disc just a little bit too low, ruled down. Second opportunity for them, and they punch it in for the break. So huge momentum shift for Iris.
If they can get another break, that'll give them half.
The Sixers team, though, always seem to be pretty calm and collected. Don't really seem like there's a lot that can rattle them. They have a ton of confidence in each other. Lots of the players, I believe there was 5 of them that played on Team Canada. So great opportunity there for them with their coach to go and get a ton of reps together, work on their chemistry. I believe they have been playing some tournaments down in the U.S. circuit as well. And lots of energy here coming from Sixers. Sideline doing their best to encourage their team after letting that break go.
Pumping each other up.
Massey with the pull for Iris. Fielded by Beaudry. Puts that one up. Kamira with the disc. Back over to Beaudry. These two working so well together. Over to Dos Santos. Back to Beaudry. Beaudry up to Dawson. And she is ruled out by the observer. So Iris with a chance to break and take half.
That was a good bid, though.
Trin with the disc. Looking for Dunbar. Goes upfield to Chu. Great grab by Cote.
Great read on the disc by Cote as well with that one. Those behind ones when you're cutting forward.
And Boschman will put that one over the top. And she keeps her toes in. Great catch by Massey over on the far sideline. And Iris will break to take half, making it 8-7 for Iris. Unbelievable throw by Boschman and great grab by Massey over on the far sideline to keep her toes in and reel that one in. Iris will take half. We will take a quick break up in the booth here. Iris currently leading 8-7.
And this is the first time Iris has been in the lead for this game.
Yes, it has. Very exciting play. Don't go anywhere. We will be back with more action from the Canadian Ultimate Championships. Welcome back to the Canadian Ultimate Championships. We are here in the women's final at Ivor Dent Sports Park in Edmonton, Alberta. 6ixers taking on Iris. Iris, exciting play in that final end of the first half there, going up 8-7. I'm joined in the booth by Krista McDonald. Do you want to talk about what the first half had in store for us?
The 6ixers were moving the disc so well. They're so fast. And Iris was just able to get 3 breaks in a row there, really moving the disc across the field, using all of the space that they have. And those 3 breaks definitely brought up the momentum for Iris. You could see them out here very pumped, getting a turn already, hoping for a 4th break in a row.
Boschman with the disc for Iris. Puts that one up. Low shot. Melissa Dunbar can't reel that one in. If you are just tuning in, we have the 6ixers in purple, Iris in white. Iris currently up 8-7 over 6ixers. High shot around, and Massey with a huge grab again. We saw her at the end of that first half with the goal for Iris. There will be a pick on the field. We are currently playing on the VC Showcase Field. The women's division, sponsored by VC, longtime sponsor of this event. We're always very thankful to have them on board. Iris shooting that one, but Brittany Dos Santos goes horizontal and gets the disc back for the 6ixers.
That was definitely a nice defensive play by the 6ixers.
That one up to Dos Santos. Beaudry streaking deep. Dos Santos puts one around. There's going to be some contact.
Looks like an injury from the 6ixers player. She's a little slow to get up.
Elsa Chu going for that one.
Oh.
I think looks like it's Cindy Trong on that far sideline for the 6ixers. Disc in her hands. She was able to reel it in despite the contact. Nice grab by her.
Good commitment.
Trong looking over to Dos Santos. Another pick called. Very common when running this vert stack. Takes a very disciplined stack to avoid picks. We've already seen quite a few of those called so far in this game with both offenses running this vert stack. Dos Santos tries to put it up to Beaudry. And again, Cindy Trong with the grab, and she puts that one up to Sarah Kidd, lays out and brings the goal in for the 6ixers.
The 6ixers really needed to score that point to keep some momentum in their direction.
Yeah,
and some great grabs all around.
Yeah, lots of pressure from the Iris defenders. Cindy Trong, though, coming up with 2 huge grabs, keeping the disc alive, and the 6ixers get their hold out of half. We have been here all week at this great sports park. Lots of inclement weather throughout the week. It's a pretty nice day here now. There's a little bit of a breeze, but not really impacting this game. Ultimate Canada doing a great job all throughout this week, bringing us games so you all at home can enjoy. Can see that the field has been set up with some of our other sponsors. Discraft, of course, always a great sponsor to have for these events. We also had a nutrition sponsor this year in Cliff Bar. I definitely enjoyed eating that Cliff Bar out of my player package, so we thank them.
You got a Cliff Bar in your player package?
I did.
I did not. Oh, wait, I got some of those blocked. I opted for the gummies instead.
Very great for the hangry moments.
Yes.
So 6ixers with the pull here. Janae at the center of this Iris O-line handling squad. Prevost puts it back to Janae.
She's wide open and calling for it.
Puts it over to Boschman. Boschman back to Janae. Facing this 6ixers zone again. That one on the far sideline. Oh, and just out of the hands of Amond. So 6ixers zone putting some pressure on the Iris handlers. Chen will pick up the disc. Sixers with an opportunity to get their break back. Looking up line. Boschman almost gets her hands on it, but then Janae is there for the D. Boschman looking, airs that one up into space, up to Dion. Dion looking, shoots it over, huge grab by Boschman. Low around, that one is put up to Janae, but just in and out of her hands. Lots of pressure there by Quach. Will be Molly Lewis picking up the disc for the Sixers. Puts that one over to Chen. Chen looking downfield, not a lot of motion out of the vert stack. Great around throw to Kinoshita. Kinoshita finds Tingle. Tingle looking for Chen. Immediately goes up blind for the give and go. Puts that one over to Mason, and Mason will put that one into the end zone, but just too high for Sarah Boback. We've seen Boback already with some great grabs throughout this game. That one just a little bit too blady. Can't get her hand on it.
Quach was there as well, but I think she was just a little out of position to try to get that tail end. She looked she looked frustrated when it hit the ground.
Janae looking, puts it over to Prevost. Prevost surveying her options, puts it back to Janae. Sixers zone doing a great job. And she's going to try and punt that one, but huge D, Alyssa Mason, using her height to stop that punt from Iris. And they will have a short field to work with as Molly Lewis walks up, looking into the end zone, puts it over to Quach. Back to Lewis into the end zone, and two players in the area. It's brought in. I believe that was Chen that tipped it and then eventually caught it. And Sixers take their lead back 9-8 over Iris.
The Sixers cup is so strong. They're not letting anything up through the middle.
Yeah, Iris we've seen on other points the handlers moving it between themselves really well. They were kind of crashing through the cup, swinging it back and forth. A little bit more stagnant on that point. I think they were trying to rely on their downfield cutters to get open. And I think a little bit more movement from them to break that cup up and really make it move will go a long way in breaking this zone down.
Yeah, because they had another high stall count attempt at the punt, but again, it was blocked by the Sixers with a great play.
Yeah, Alyssa Mason using her height. It's always a little frightening when you're in the cup and you see the handler wind up just to punt it. But she does a great job getting her hands on that one and making it a short field for the Sixers to take a break.
She's going to feel that later, though. Those sting, and it is chilly out, so you know those are burning.
So it is currently 9-8 for the Sixers, taking their lead back on that last point. Big pull from Anishka Beaudry. There's an offside called on the Sixers. So that one will be repulled. That is their first offside. So they will repull on their second one. Iris gets to take it at half.
If you are unfamiliar with Ultimate, the disc has to be the first thing to cross the end zone line.
So those Sixers players, maybe after the last break, just feeling pretty excited, wanting to get down there and put that cup and pressure on Iris. Just crossing the line a little bit before the pull goes off. Beaudry with another pull.
Look at that hustle from the Sixers cup.
Prevost looking, puts that one through to Robert. Robert around back to Prevost. Up to Wallet. Prévost, huge fakes over to Robert. Nice work through the middle of that cup. Prévost gesturing for someone to come in. Puts that one up to Robert. See, the Sixers have melted back into match defense. Melissa Dunbar with the disc. Puts that one up for Boscheman into the end zone. Huge grab by Nina Prévost. And she is in, and that is a goal for Iris, tying it back up at 9s.
That was some much better movement with the disc on the zone from Iris this time.
Yeah, really patient movement from their handlers. They worked it through with each other, and then getting the downfield receivers involved. As soon as they got a few pops into that cup, you could see they were really able to break it open. And then once Sixers melted into match, just using their speed to get open, still moving it around and finding Nina Prévost in the end zone. Huge grab from her.
Oh, that was beautiful.
Very spirited player. She is one of the Iris Spirit captains. Definitely a characteristic grab from her. She certainly knows how to get up there and sky some people. Despite being a little vertically challenged, she definitely does not play like she is.
As someone who also suffers from that, I love seeing the smaller ones get up and grab them.
Yes, very thrilling grabs. So we are currently tied at 9s here in this final game of the women's division. We're here at the Canadian Ultimate Championships. The sun is starting to come out now too, making it a great day for Ultimate. A little bit breezy, but nothing really that's affecting these players.
I don't know if I've seen the sun since Thursday.
Nice little break for us here. And Iris with a big pull. That one is going to stay in bounds and fielded by Hannah Dawson. Huge under there to Sarah Bobak. Back to Kimura. There's a pick downfield. So disc will stay in the hands of Kimura. Nice around shot over to Maron. Back to Kimura. Puts that one up. Sarah Bobak. Up the line, back to Maron. Maron back over into the middle to Kimura. Hannah Dawson, that one maybe coming in a little quicker than she thought. Has a bit of a misstep, but does well to keep her hands on it. I believe there was another pick called downfield. Hannah Dawson looking up line. That one is going to float, and it's grabbed by Deanna Trin for Iris. Zhao over to the far sideline. That one is going to be knocked away by Cindy Trung. Cindy Trung already with a few huge grabs in this game. Adds a defensive stop to her record. Beaudry with the disc. Puts that one back over to Kimura. Kimura back over to Beaudry. Nice OI around. Kimura and Beaudry going 1 and 2 here. Kimura looking in the end zone. IO shot.
There is a pick called, though.
Nice job by Sarah Kidd there, grabbing that one, but it will come back. Iris players' play on the disc was affected by the stack. Kimura back over to Beaudry. Puts it back to Kimura, immediately goes up line. Great stop there by the Iris player. That one streaking in. It looks like there's a little bit of confusion on the play. Not sure if it was
a run in or a catch in.
That was Hannah Dawson with the great cut up the line there for Sixers.
They are calling her not in, I believe.
So might have thought she was in and just ran a little bit past the goal, but observers giving their perspective didn't quite get her first foot into the end zone. You can see her pacing around back there. I think she thought that she was quite in.
It was hard to tell from here, but she did look a little short.
Yeah, obviously we do not have the best perspective. Observers right on the end zone line, so they definitely have the best perspective. I think some frustration from Hannah Dawson. She thought she was in. This would be a huge goal for the 6ixers. Not exactly sure what the discussion is here. I think there must have been more discussion than just whether she was in or not. Seems like there's a lot just for that kind of call. If she wasn't in, she would just come back to the end zone line.
But I think where she was calling herself in, I think that's where the discussion was coming from.
She looks back to Kamira. Puts that one over to Trung. Trung around, and that one is brought in. And Jordan Maron with the kick spike, and 6ixers go up 10-9.
One of the things I definitely noticed on that point with the turnover transitions, the 6ixers were much smoother and quicker on getting those transitions back into position. And I think that was the difference in that point with Iris. On a couple of the transitions, their cutters were still looking downfield and not up at the handlers to see those discs.
Yeah, great job by 6ixers there. Lots of focus. They were on that end zone line for quite a while. As we've mentioned before in this game, their end zone offense, very disciplined. They move it between their handlers and wait for that open option in the end zone. They haven't had a ton of red zone turnovers so far in this game, which is definitely one of the biggest struggles of an offense is patience when you get to that end zone line.
Yeah, and those handlers were definitely showing it today. If you're just tuning in, you're watching the women's finals on the VCC Showcase Field for the Canadian Ultimate Championships. The score is currently 10-9 for the 6ixers. The 6ixers in purple and Iris in white.
Yeah, so far a great game here. Lots of fans sitting up in the bleachers there. Great day for watching Ultimate. Quick sit bleachers providing those for us all week long. I'm very glad that the weather is nice enough here that the fans want to be here and watch this great game, because we do have an excellent one unfolding between Iris and 6ixers here. Boscheman doing a great job of bringing that one in. Prevost with the disc. Again, Iris facing this zone from 6ixers. Boscheman puts that one over to the sideline. We'll get it back. Looks for the swing over to Robert. Instead goes back to Prevost. Prevost looking downfield and will put it over to Boscheman. Boscheman floats it over to Beerus. Beerus back to Boscheman. Prevost streaking into the cup, and she will put that one back to Robert. Iris being pushed back now. Prevost with the grab. Nice OI up the sideline to Beerus. Beerus looking up line. Finds Robert in the middle of the field. 6ixers transitioning into their match defense. Nice IO shot up to Amond. Big fakes. Boscheman catches that one with pressure from 6ixers. Looks for Robert. Robert around to Prevost. Those three working so well together. Moving this disc around. Prevost with no cuts. Puts that one over. Great grab by Robert. Oh, and there's a huge D. Jessica Chen gets her hands on that one, getting the disc back for the 6ixers. Kinoshita in the middle. Puts that one up. Dos Santos with the disc on the far sideline. Fakes up line. We'll look back for Chen. Chen looking for a cutter out of that stack. Finds Lewis. Molly Lewis with the shot inside to Mason to the end zone. And Brittany Dos Santos with the goal.
There is a travel
But
called.
there is a travel called on the throw.
Iris had some great movement of the disc up the field, but you could see Prévost getting frustrated at the end when her cutters were not cutting for her just before the turnover.
Yeah, not a lot of looks out of the stack. Having to force one through. Jessica Chen gets it back for the 6ixers. They worked it up the field very well. Lots of quick movement. They're never really holding the disc for too long. But Iris thinking that Alyssa Mason on that around throw, taking a couple steps and dragging her toe. Looks like that is Malte's argument as they're going to the observers here for their perspective. Looks like there was a travel called, so it will come back to Alyssa Mason. So obviously a good call by Iris there. The observers agreeing that there was a travel. Disc will stay with 6ixers. Lewis now with the disc. We have an injury called. Penelope Robert. Not sure if she just twisted her ankle or.
I didn't see it. I was following the disc.
What happened there? Hopefully she's okay. Hops off the field. Hopefully just a little shaken up.
She put a little bit of weight on it. She keeps grabbing her back as well.
Melissa Dunbar comes into the game for Iris. Molly Lewis with the disc for 6ixers. Puts it over to Chen. Lewis going up line. Great coverage there. Iris doing a great job of shutting down these 6ixers handlers. But Chen streaks into the end zone and gets the goal for 6ixers, making it 11-9 Toronto 6ixers.
Big break for the 6ixers with that one too.
Yeah, we can see the effectiveness of that 6ixers zone. Iris doing a really great job between their handlers, working it downfield, but then as they melted into their person defense, not a lot of cuts coming out of the stack for Iris. We saw some little bit of frustration from them, wanting some more movement from their downfield cutters. Great D by Jessica Chen to get it back for the 6ixers, and then they just worked it up all the way to the end zone. And as we've seen all day, their end zone, so disciplined and patient, always waiting for the open throw, never really forcing anything in. And that was a great cut by Jessica Chen into the end zone. She gets the double happiness for 6ixers and makes this game 11-9.
I also think it was great from the 6ixers too. They weren't getting frustrated with the calls. Sometimes if there's calls on the field, they'll get frustrated and they can rush and make a mistake, and they still maintain their composure and put it in.
Yeah, we've seen really great spirit from both of these teams so far in this game. There have been quite a few calls, both teams running a vert stack, lots of picks, a few travels, other fouls and things, but everything looking like it's being resolved very well by both teams. So always nice to see that spirit of the game very apparent. Boschman with the disc. Janae back out there for Iris. Facing this zone again. Nice shot up to Baudouin. Back to Janae. Gesturing where she would like her cutters to pop in. Puts it over to Boschman. Nice shot over top to Baudouin. Back to Janae. Iris handlers looking very calm here. Nice shot through to Zhao, but there was a call. I believe it's going to be retracted. So disc will stay with Zhao. Zhao looking upfield. Puts it up to Janae. Nice grab. She fakes the big huck to Dunbar. Puts it under to Dion. Dion up to Zhao. Zhao looking into the end zone. And puts that one up. And a great OI flick right into the hands of Dion. Excellent offense from Iris there. Very patient. Their handlers worked it through that zone. And great patience on the end zone, making this game 11-10 for the 6ixers.
The sun really starting to come out now. I'm sure the players are enjoying the heat from it.
That was really the hold that Iris needed. We saw in the last point they struggled a little bit as the Sixers transitioned into their match defense, but that one worked it through the zone very quickly. And once they transitioned, still stayed nice and patient on this end zone line, and a great OI put into the end zone. Brings them back within one.
You know they're going for that break this point.
And we've already seen so far this Iris D line, very fiery bunch. They are very capable of getting these turnovers. And they have been making this Sixers team work all day long for every hold. So it will be Massey with the pull for Iris. Nice pull into the back corner. Beaudry will field it for Sixers. Puts that one up into the middle for Lauren Camira. Camira over to Dos Santos. Back to Camira. A round shot up to Beaudry. Beaudry looking deep. Puts that one up. Back to Camira in the middle. There's another pick called. Sarah Kidd on the far side with the disc. Zhao will catch up. Disc back to Camira. Camira up to Dos Santos. Dos Santos goes around. Nice find there to Cindy Trung. Back to Dos Santos. She will put that one around to Camira. Up to Bobak.
Another pick called.
Sixers really doing a great job of using the space on the field. You can see there's a lot of trust in the receivers. They almost don't even look and just float the disc out into space, trusting that there is going to be a cutter there.
Their stack is set quite deep, which is allowing a lot of space for those first cutters to get open. I was just thinking that.
Bobak with the disc. Puts that up to Camira. Camira shoots it around. Tons of pressure, but Trung brings it in.
Oh.
And great D there. Conto with the D for Iris.
After the fall, too, she manages to get back up and just get her hand on it.
Contois streaking under. Lots of pressure from the Sixers. And that one right back into the hands of Camira. Sixers immediately streaking for the end zone. And there's another pick called. Beaudoin with the mark. Camira swings over to Bobak. Back to Camira. Puts that one up to Beaudry. Into the end zone for Bobak. And a great cut there. Sarah Bobak getting the goal for Sixers. Making this one 12-10 Toronto Sixers.
I think Iris there really needed to take their time, and their cutters just seemed a bit too deep and not quite engaging when they had that transition and that opportunity on the Sixers end zone.
Yeah, Gabrielle Contois with a great D there, gets her hand on it. And I think Iris maybe just getting a little bit excited. It looked like they all sprinted away from the disc, trying to transition quickly, but Sixers putting a lot of pressure on their unders. They didn't really have a lot of options. Camira just poaching that open lane and gets the disc back for the Sixers.
Yeah, I agree. It's one of the things you want that fast transition, but it always happens that nobody goes or everybody goes, and then you're stuck.
So Iris back on O here. We've seen a lot of great movement from this O-line. Very comfortable with each other. They've been facing a Sixers zone through most of the game. Sixers electing to put the zone on for the first couple throws and then melting into person defense pretty quickly.
Yeah, they're melting about half or just before.
Janae with the disc. Up to Boschman. Puts that one over. Nice shot into space there to Wallette. Back to Janae. Over to Boschman. Back to Janae. Nice patient movement. Over to Wallette. I believe there's a down called. Wallette thinking that she had her hand under it before the disc hit the ground.
Did you have a good perspective? The pole from our
I did
booth
not.
was right in the way.
Did not have a great perspective on it. Jessica Chen, standing right in front of it, believes that it was down. The observers will have a discussion. And they are ruling that it was up. So disc will stay with Iris. Wallette with the disc. Back to Janae. Janae looking deep, fakes the hammer. Instead goes to Boschman. Puts that one back over to Wallette. Boschman, Wallette, and Janae working so well together. Lots of patience from these handlers. Over to Prévost. Puts that one back over to Wallette. Boschman looking downfield. Back to Janae. You can see a few of the downfield iris cutters with lots of space. But again, just patient movement by the handlers. They know how speedy this Sixers team is. Not wanting to take any shots that aren't sure. That's a great over the top. Imond with the disc. Faking, goes around to Janae. Janae looking end zone. High stall count, but Nina Prévost goes down and gets the low throw from Janae. That will be an iris hold, making it 12-11 Sixers.
That was great patience by Janae, too, to wait for that open pass.
Yeah, we've talked a lot about end zone discipline in this game and the difference that it's made. Iris definitely calming down on these O-line points, not forcing anything. Could see there were a couple downfield cutters definitely gesturing for the disc, thinking that they have tons of space, but handlers doing a great job staying patient, taking those over-the-top shots when they have them, and then staying really calm on the end zone line. Probably a little bit lower of a throw than Janae wanted, but trust her receiver in Nina Prévost. We've already seen her make a ton of great grabs. That one pulls it up off the grass and gets the hold for Iris.
Yeah, that was great patience, like you just said, from the handlers, just to move it around and wait for that opportunity to finally get it up the field with the big gainer.
So we'll see this Iris D-line again, putting lots of pressure on these Sixers handlers, doing a great job of getting turnovers. We'll see if they can get another one here. We've also seen a lot of great defense from the Sixers O-line. They've thrown a few turnovers, but anytime that they do turn it over, they are really playing great defense to try and get the disc back to keep the hold. Disc over with Maron. Back over to Kamira. Kamira looking for Beaudry. Goes to Cindy Trung. Trung back to Kamira. Over to Dos Santos. There is a pick downfield. We've seen a few less hucks than I thought from the Sixers team. I thought because it was pretty calm day that we would really see them open that space up, but Iris doing a great job of taking those away. So Sixers instead having to use the width of the field. There's another call on the field. That disc will come back to Kamira.
We saw a couple of long bombs from Iris in the first half. Maybe the Sixers just saw how their successes were and didn't want to utilize it the same way.
Another call on the play. Dos Santos with the disc for the Sixers. Will be Cote on the mark for Iris.
Some discussion by the players right now trying to decide what.
So it's coming in at 3. Brittany Dos Santos with the disc. Puts that one up for Kamira. Kamira puts that one under for Bobak. Back to Kamira. There's another call in the stack. Bit of a slower point here. Lots of pick calls coming out of the stack.
Players probably just a little excited to get that point.
And we are getting later into the game. Currently 12-11 for the Sixers. The Sixers just 3 points away from a gold medal. Iris doing everything they can to prevent that.
Lots of time left to still play, though.
Kamira up to Cindy Trung. Over to Beaudry. Beaudry looking into the end zone. Finds Kamira. Kamira back over to Dos Santos. Dos Santos into the end zone. And what a great throw from Brittany Dos Santos. Nice around shot over to Jordan Marron. That will make it 13-11 for Toronto Sixers.
I really like the composure held by the Sixers despite all of the pick calls. They maintained their patience and just slowly worked it in, worked it around. They didn't let it get to them where other teams could potentially get very frustrated with that.
Yeah, the Sixers have remained very calm throughout this entire game. Iris has gotten a few breaks on them, made this game close, took the lead at one point, but this O-line from the Sixers, always very steady, working the disc across the field, really using the width of the field. They have great around throws, throwing everything into space, really giving their receivers an opportunity to just run right onto those throws. So currently 13-11, Toronto Sixers over Iris. This Iris O-line also been doing a great job this last little bit. They've adjusted very well to this Sixers zone that they've been facing. Tons of patience from this handler contingent. And the pull is up from the Sixers. So we'll see again, Janae Boschman, Prévost. She puts that one over the top. Great grab. That was Godair with the grab with tons of pressure from the Sixers. Prévost now over to Boschman. There's a call downfield. I think as the Sixers were melting into their person defense, a few players just getting tangled up. Disc will go back to Prévost. Sounds like the disc will be coming in at 7. Puts that one back for Boschman. Nice throw into space. Boschman looking around. Doesn't have a ton of options. Goes over for Janae. Janae looking downfield. Back to Prévost. Iris handler's getting pushed further back. Puts that one up. Oh. A huge layout. Brittany Dos Santos immediately shoots it into the end zone. And that will be caught by Alyssa Mason. Brittany Dos Santos, what a great defensive play that was.
Great effort by both players. You saw the Sixers player and the Iris player laying out in an attempt to get that. the Sixers player just a bit more of a reach to get a finger on it. And great transition to toss it into the end zone.
Yeah, great focus there by Dos Santos. You can see sometimes after those huge bids, the person immediately getting up and throwing. The throw doesn't always go how you want it to after a layout like that. But Brittany Dos Santos, so much composure, puts the perfect around shot into the end zone. And Sixers are up 14-11 over Iris.
Huge break to give them that 3-point lead here.
Iris is going to take a timeout on the field, just regrouping a little bit. Their downfield cutters had tons of pressure from the Sixers defense on that last point. Looks like they're having some troubles getting open downfield. It also kind of looked like they were having cuts coming at the same time. They had a few receivers
Cutting
in
each
the
other
open
off.
space. Yeah, kind of wanting to clean that up, timing their cuts, making space for each other.
The pressure is on now, so everyone's going to want it, and they have to maintain that patience and that composure to make sure that they're not cutting each other off so they can get those passes off.
Yeah, we've seen them be very composed all day long. This O-line is a great group that has been together for a while. All they need to do is keep working it up the field and then hand it over to their D-line to get them a break back. So the Sixers just one break away from taking this gold medal away from Iris. If you are just tuning in to our broadcast now, we've had a great game so far. Lots of breaks from both teams. Both defenses have been putting a ton of pressure on the handlers and the downfield cutters. Everyone having to work extremely hard to get open. It has not been an easy game for either team. We've seen huge bids and great catches by both sides. It's been wonderful being here so far. We are in the final of the women's division at the Canadian Ultimate Championships. Currently, it is the Toronto Sixers in purple pulling to Iris. The Sixers currently up 14-11.
And this has just been a great game from both teams.
Boschman over to Prévost. Facing this zone again. Looks over top to Robert. Robert back over to Dunbar. Dunbar looking for options. Puts it up to Prévost. Oh, and just a little bit rushed there. Robert bobbles it, and the Sixers are marching towards the end zone. Alyssa Mason puts that one up, and it'll be reeled in. Miriam Tingle with the goal for Toronto Sixers, and that will be the game. Toronto Sixers will defeat Iris 15-11 in this gold medal match here at the Canadian Ultimate Championships. Little bit of an unfortunate end for Iris. They played great all game long. We saw lots of patience from their handlers facing that Sixers zone. That last one, just a bit of a rush throw.
They kind of left her out to dry and then rushed back. And
a slight bobble by Robert, but both teams putting on a great show for us all day. The Sixers, their O-line was just so steady all throughout this game. Even when the Iris team did force turnovers, Sixers O-line playing great D, getting that disc back for them, and just tons of patience in the end zone. Lots of discipline. They didn't really force a lot of throws, really trusting their downfield receivers to get open. It's been a great time calling this game for you. Toronto Sixers, champions again. They have been a program since 2016. This is their second win in program history at the Canadian Ultimate Championships.
some pretty good statistics.
Yeah, for a young program, really great history there so far. This is definitely not the last we have seen from either of these teams. Iris also doing a great job all game long. Tons of defensive stops, great throws from them. Really entertaining game for us to watch. It's been a great time having this game. And commentating it for you, my name's Bobby Anderson. I was joined here with Kristen McDonald. We are going to be signing off now before the medal ceremony. 6ixers will receive their gold medals. Iris, silver medalists in this women's division, and Vancouver Traffic took the bronze medals. It's been a pleasure all week long here from Ivor Dent Sports Park in Edmonton, Alberta. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will have more action for you next week. The mixed division will be happening in Brampton, Ontario, so make sure you are looking for our live stream schedule there. There'll be lots of great action coming at you from Ultimate Canada. From everyone here in Edmonton, thank you so much for tuning in, and have a great day.